Yes. Yeah. Okay, I thought, all right. I didn't know if it was, I just didn't hear anything.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. I'm super excited. I'm really excited to be here with everyone today for so many different reasons. It is we're commemorating Juneteenth, and there was pre-planned. Yet a couple of days ago, we have made it a national holiday. So this is such a remarkable day, and I'm happy within this conference that I get to speak today on that particular moment, celebrating the day before Juneteenth. So it's very exciting for me. So I'm gonna speak. I would like it to be interactive, so feel free to ask, chat, send some messages on the chat. Once I'm done presenting, we will certainly open it up for question. I really want it to be a dialogue so that I can help in however way I can to shed light, answer question, and really bring some inspiration and motivation throughout the day so that it works for everyone. So without further ado, let me start the conversation. So my name is Rachel Sylvain Spence. I am a proud Haitian American. I was born in New York City and I was raised in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. I am a very proud mother of two, and I am thrilled to be married to a Jamaican American man. I am a daughter, a granddaughter, a sister, a niece, an aunt, a friend, a cousin, a mentor, a coach, a speaker, a philanthropist, an entrepreneur, and an author who happens to have a master's degree in social work and certification and coaching. I go around inspiring, uplifting, motivating others to use that voice they have within themselves to step into their truth and show up authentically for themselves, because I believe it's in tapping in that inner light that resides within us. We get to know who we truly are, what we're about, and why we do, and why we say, and why we show up the way in which we show up. This is who I am in a nutshell. I am a confident, strong, determined, compassionate, loyal, dedicated woman of service. And I am thrilled to be here with you today to share, to pour in, to really grow as a collective, because I strongly believe it is in the collective that we become the bigger, greater version of who we truly are. The topic of the day is reigniting the inner motivation within in the midst of challenges. Well, we all know what type of year we've had in 2020. It was filled of challenges, obstacles. We were faced with human rights issues, social issues, political turmoil. We had a pandemic that took control of our year in ways that we have never imagined. But yet, we are still here, standing, participating, showing up, not only for ourselves, but we're showing up for our community or families so that we can continue to grow and be the better version of who we were meant to be. It is really important for us to learn to know how to tap into that inner voice, that inner flame. And I've seen a lot of question in the board earlier about how do you find that motivation? Does it really, what does it really mean to have the inner motivation within? Well, it does exist. We each have a flame that resides within ourselves. We often find ourselves asking questions outside of who we are, when we can indeed tap into that answer within us if we give ourselves time, if we take the time to process the vibration that are being generated within ourselves. We will realize that the answer we're seeking, that energy that we're so wanting, that motivation that we feel that we need so that we could get out of bed, so we could show up, so we could actually take the next step in our career, in our schools, in our jobs, in our families, even for ourselves, it's within us. The question is, how do we go about tapping into that? So this is what we'll talk about, and we'll get into conversation with that topic. I will start with, let me see if I can move this slide, sorry, since I'm managing it myself. So the quote of the day that I would like to start with is a quote by Winston Churchill. And the reason why this quote is so empowering to me is because it has helped me in so many different areas of my life. You are going through hell, keep going. If you are going through hell, keep going. What does that really mean? Well, first, the obvious is that giving up is not an option because we still have to keep living. And the second is the presumption that you actually can. And the reality is this: you have several different things that may come up in your life. Loss. When you're dealing with a loss, you still have to show up. When you're dealing with the loss, the pain of that loss, you still have to show up. When you're dealing with the pain of losing a business or refiguring out your finances, you still have to show up to do that. When you have to deal with a conversation because you had a conflict with someone and you have to get involved in having this conversation, you have to show up. So in every element in your life, even getting out of bed, the presumption that you actually can is there. You have to remind yourself that you need to go take that walk. You need to go feed yourself. You need to be able to be there for your loved ones. You need to pay this bill. You need to have a drink of water. You need to eat. So you have it within you. It is a safe presumption. And the third is when you embrace the notion that you can, keep going. God, the universe, listens. It takes notice. It sees that you have a will within you. It sees that the drive within yourself is there to keep pushing through. It takes notice. And in taking notice, so many other things gets opened. I'm so sorry that this just happened. Oh my God. I do apologize, everyone. Sorry about that. I do apologize about that. Well, this is what happened when you have children and they just keep on calling you and not realizing that you're busy and they're not supposed to call you. So I do apologize for this mishap. And so moving forward is that we are in a specific stage in our lives right now where things are continuously happening. And in it happening doesn't mean it's happening to us, it's happening through us. And we need to take account of that and realize that for every challenge, every obstacle, every setback we have in life, Let's not look at why is it happening to me? And let's look at it as a why is it happening? Because the important is that there's a lesson to be learned. There's a growth that needs to happen at that moment. So for every time you're going through something, for every time you're faced with a challenge, we've dealt with so much last year, socially. Unconceivable, the things that were happening. But yet it happened. What have we learned? How have we grown from there? And where are we now? We need to learn to process what's happening at any given time. I strongly believe and talk about the importance of feeling through what's currently happening as we're experiencing things so that we can grow from it and push through it. The only way you could get on the other side of whatever you're facing, challenges you're facing at any given time, is allowing yourself to feel what's happening, take account, reflect, and push through. Let's not dismiss things. Let's process them. Let's take it in. And then allow ourselves to grow, learn, and step into the next version, the next stage, the next chapter we're destined to be part of. This is the process of pushing through. This is why it's important to grow through every experience so that we can become that other version of who we're meant to be. There is purpose behind every experience. Look at us today. We're celebrating the fact that a day ago, that now Juneteenth has become a national holiday. Our ancestors have gone through pain, struggle. They have endured so much for us. Bloodshed, tears. Last year, we experienced so much emotions, life that were lost. Human beings being treated as animals. But yet we're here today able to process this. We have grown from the experience of last year. Some of us became woke. We have learned more about what Juneteenth means. Some of us didn't even know what it meant. And now we're able to celebrate the fact that we were given a holiday nationally that was well-deserved, long time coming. And this is where motivation comes in. Motivation is the idea that we have something within ourselves that keeps us going. A motivation can come in different areas. It's internal and external. And it is up to us individually to identify what keeps us moving forward on a daily basis, regardless of what we were dealt with. Whatever the cart we was dealt with, how do we keep on moving through it with a positive mindset and focus on the greater outcome that we're seeking? What is motivation? Motivation is a process that initiates, guides, and maintains goal-oriented behaviors. Motivation is what makes you act and do things. It is the driving force behind human actions. It is also the factor that directs and maintains these goals-directed actions. Motivation is activated by cognitive, emotional, biological, social, and environmental behavior forces. This is what motivation, I should say, is about. There are two different types of motivations. It's extrinsic, external. So now those of us who feel that if we get an award, if we're gonna get a perk, if we're gonna get a special point, extra money, we're motivated to do things because we know these things will come. If we're gonna get a raise, if we're gonna get the extra grade, and motivation is triggered externally. These are the things that makes us want to do these things that we're doing and doing it well because we're motivated by an external force. And the other type is intrinsic. It's internal. is the autonomy, the purpose. It's connecting with that purpose within ourselves. And I'm telling you, people talk about finding purpose. I am a believer that you don't find purpose, you connect with your purpose. And in connecting with that purpose, you have the drive, the motivation tells you to keep going forward and not allow the outside noise, not allow the challenges, not allow the setbacks to take control, because you will continue to push through because you have a purpose and you are driven to achieve that which you have identified as being the reason behind your existence. Is that curiosity, it's the enjoyment, it's the fulfillment that you find in that process. It's the passion, it's the mastery, it's a personal growth. It's all internal. This is that one thing that you have within you and it's unique to you that makes you do what you do as opposed to the other person doing what they do. Because we each have our own internal motivation. So it's very crucial that we know how to connect with that. And often in our lives, we find ourselves in spaces that we look at ourselves in mirrors and we're like, we do not like who we see. We wake up out of bed and we don't want to go do what we want to do. Let it be in our job, in our businesses, even in school. Those of us who are going to school, eventually going to college, still not connecting because there's something that we still don't know. We have yet to be able to fully align with. Because we look at ourselves and we do not know who we're seeing on the other side. We're not thrilled with who we're identifying on the other side. We have a disconnect with that person. Why? Because we do not have the inner motivation to take the time to fully connect with who we are from within so that we can pull that person out and step into our purpose fully, filled of joy and fulfillment. So we talk about self-reflection. You have seen yourself in the mirror, you know the reflection, but do you truly know who is within? The social norms that we're given, we're told what we need to do in life, we're told who we are, we're told where to sit, we're told where we cannot go. Again, we're talking about the historical component of us being people of color, but yet we have other desires. The shoulds, society is telling us what to do, but we totally are not aligned with what they're saying we should do. Therefore, you're not fulfilled. The empty space within. Many live an empty space filled with hope, dreams, opportunities, and distractions. We're not fully connected with that. Yet, in identifying that these things are lacking, the motivation comes in to step in and try to identify how to move past that. So the truth is, motivation, the distraction are a convenient reason for avoiding the real reason you are not fulfilled. Distractions. How do you resolve that? What drives distraction? Feeling unmotivated, feeling stuck, feeling off your game, feeling disconnected with yourself, feeling drained and depleted, feeling unfulfilled. How do you conquer distraction? Connecting to your inner self, getting to know who you truly are from within, rediscovering your true identity. As you can see, I purposely started my conversation and described who I was. I didn't just talk about what I have. I spoke of who I was because that's my true identity. You will connect with who I truly am from within, regardless of my accolades. Getting unstuck, connecting to your passion, self-care, feeling fueled with energy and drive. This will bring you to the next stage of your life, filled with hope, with dreams, and fully connected with your motivation. Our great Martin Luther King said, and that's my favorite quote, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But by all means, keep moving, because it's in moving that you actually are able to identify, celebrate, step into your light, the way in which you are destined to step into it. It is up to you to make that decision as to how you want to be seen, how do you want to show up, and how you want to live. It will not happen sitting down. It will happen in action. So it requires you to make a decision with yourself, for yourself, by yourself, to keep moving forward, because no matter what's happening all around us, we still have a purpose, we still have a life to live, we still have to show up for us, and for our loved ones, and for our community. We need to be a voice. It is in raising our voices that we're able to get to the space today and be able to celebrate the fact that we have a federal holiday. It's connecting that which brings us passion to be able to step forward and drive ourselves to the space that we will take action, make demands and requests, so that what our ancestors have done for us, what they lived through, those who have died for us did not die in vain, because we are fully connected with the cause. We are driven, we are passionate, and we are motivated from within to be able to move forth and demand that which is for us. And this day is indeed ours, fully ours. So let's not sit back. Let's keep pushing through. Let's not give up. Let's keep going, no matter what it is. It's important that we create pathways so that when we are unable to keep going, we take a step back, we reflect on it, we release that which doesn't serve us, and we get back on track. Create what works for you so that you know how to tap in and out of the feeling that's being generated within yourself that does not serve you, so that you can remain in the path of motivation and move through your life positively. Reminders to stay motivated. The only thing you can control is yourself. I'm not sure why this is like this. The only thing you can control is yourself. You can find joy in the struggle. And what is that? Let's think about giving birth. For those of us who have given birth or able to give birth. The pain is there, but once we actually give birth to that child, instantaneously we find joy. So there is pain in the struggle. You need to be able to identify when it shows up, how to pull it out. Take it one step at a time. Have faith and stay hopeful. Whatever your faith is, whatever you need to, whatever you have that keeps you going spiritually, tap into it. Tap into it, because there is something greater than you that causes you to be where you are, that's giving you the platform that's giving you the challenge that you're given, and there's purpose behind that. So for every time you're dealing with a challenge in your life, I encourage you to start thinking as to not why me, why not me, and learn from it, grow from it, and pull that person that's submerging from that experience in a positive way. Stay focused, stay hopeful, understand there's power behind the struggle, and you are in control of you. Having said that, I am available to, on several different platforms. Feel free to tap into me any given time. I have several different programs that are available for those who are struggling to find motivation and connecting with who they are. I have a book out there called My Energy. It's a process of self-discovery. It's a personal guide to self-discovery, energy shifting. And these are my handles. for anyone who are seeking to have a speaker or someone to have a one-on-one with, or whatever you're seeking. I'm on the different platforms, different opportunities to connect with me as well. Now go forth and stay motivated. Thank you for this opportunity, and I'm opening up for questions now and discussions. Let me stop sharing my screen. And I guess I could leave it open. So for you, can you please put your screens up so that we could have live conversation and start the conversation going. Any questions, any thoughts, any feedback? I would love it to be interactive, so open your mics. Let me see.
Hi, Rochelle. This is Melinda Mayers.
Hello, how are you, Melinda?
I'm well. Thank you so much for the words of wisdom. I was feverishly taking notes just as reminders. I was wondering what your thoughts were for the fall as we return to in-person, whether we are working with adults or children. I'm wondering if you have any words of wisdom on that note as we're coming off of the summer and embarking on in-person experiences and having to manage whatever stresses we may have experienced during the pandemic and the racial and social injustices and so forth. So if you could speak to that.
Certainly, thank you for the question. So the fall is upon, I mean, we're just entering summer this week. We're preparing for a new season. And as you just mentioned, yes, it's a new season in so many different ways. Because we've been online for so many months, over a year now, to having to go back to the setting where everybody's together and having to also be aware of all that we have experienced. I would encourage each and every one of you, as prior to going back to your regular way of living, to take the time to process what's being generated for you now in anticipation of what's to come next month. So we've gone through this year, as we said, there's so many things that has happened. What does that mean to you? What was brought up for you? And how do you go and identify the feelings behind and the thought behind each action that you plan on taking, and the feeling behind the thought as well. So that would allow you to release if it's something that doesn't serve you, and find different pathway to seek the assistance if you need that, or identify resources to help you through that process. But it's very important for each of us to take the time to process what's being generated, why it's being generated, and if it's something that's not positive, how do we go about releasing it? So that when we do show up in the fall, we're not carrying these things with us. And anticipating also that not everyone is going to be at the level of where we're at. So we all grow differently at a different pace. So therefore, you may have processed it. Doesn't mean, like, let's say Jane Doe processed it themselves. So to be able to have the tools in place for yourself, so that when if any, I mean, I'm hoping that doesn't happen, but if any issues arise from that, or emotions arise from any of these things that we had to deal with, and it shows up going back to school, that we have the proper tools in place to be able to tap into in the resources so that we can help ourselves to overcome it and navigate it. So I would assume the district would have something in place for that, so that we identify these resources should something come up from it. But as an individual, I encourage each and everyone to really take the time to process. If you have not processed it before, now is the time to take it. No better time than the summer, because you're getting yourself not only prepared to go back to school, but you're getting yourself emotionally prepared also to deal with everything that's coming from going back to work and going back to school. What is the action you're supposed to take? What is the thought behind the action? What is the feeling behind it? Identify it. Put it on, I would encourage you to put it on paper and identify how much of it is negative or positive. And if it's something that's not serving you because it's negative, put processes in place to release it. Let it be through journaling, let it be through getting some support from someone else or a professional, or you have a community, you have a group, whatever that is, identify so that you can fully release these emotions so that when you show up in the fall, you're more prepared emotionally and mentally and physically as well. I hope that was helpful.
Yes, very much so. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you for asking the question. Any other questions? Please, this is dialogue. So certainly, thank you for the wonderful messages on the side. I really appreciate that. Any other questions? You could raise your hand. I think there's a icon, a hand raising icon for those if you want to ask a question.
Hi, hello.
Hello.
I'm Joanne Jones, and I thank you for the other young lady for her question, because I'm a counselor. I'm a school counselor, and I know that our students are going to be coming back with a lot of needing that help. Just what you explained to us as adults, they also will be needing that. And so I wanted to find out if you have anything different that you would say for kids. And again, I am going to be using a lot of what you've already shared with us. But just thinking about the kids, I really want to be conscious and sensitive to their issues and problems coming back. We've had students that's lost multiple family members to COVID, and so I want to be sensitive. I know they have to get back in class and work, but I also want to be that sounding board for them as well. So I just wanted to know if you had anything for that.
Certainly. I believe that. Thank you for the question, Joanne. Thanks for raising your hand and speaking. So again, what I would encourage first is to identify through the district what's available. And I would assume that this district would have some type of protocol in place, anticipating, just saying we were anticipating these potential concerns to come up. That's the first thing. Second is that the openness that one should have to allow a student to come and having a conversation within the boundaries, of course, and also meeting each student where they're at. Even though each student may have a thought or a feeling, it may not be the same degree of the next one. So if it comes up, to be able to give them the space, if you need to allocate, I don't know how the district works, if you have like after school hours where you could give 10 minutes available for any student that wants to be have a conversation of some sort, that's an opportunity. But it's the one thing that works for no matter what the age group is the process of journaling. Now, one could say, I don't know how to journal. What does that mean? I hear that all the time. What is that? It could just be a hi to yourself, hi, or it just start with something very simple that could lead to something else the more you do it. So it's really putting to paper what's being generated within you. It gives you the opportunity to process it. So you're able to go back and read what was written, and if it doesn't sound right, you can seek the assistance you need. The student may even write it and realize and brings it up to you as a teacher or a guidance counselor of some sort, where you have something else to be like, okay, I need to maybe guide them this way or that way. But it's an opportunity for them to release that, whatever's sitting within themselves, because as you said, they've experienced a lot of loss. And I mean, in friendship and relationships, it's no matter how much we've tried, even us right now, we're doing this virtually, it's amazing, but I'm sure many of us are missing that personal connection. And so it's important for us to create that, but I definitely believe journaling is one way, creating maybe within your schedules, an opportunity for them to be able to come certain time frames to have a conversation, and having enough resource in your toolbox to be able to provide depending on what's being shared. That it be, again, depending on what the county allows you guys to do.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Anyone else? We still have time. Any other questions, thoughts? Let me see. I'm trying to read the chat to see if people wrote questions here or not. So, may I ask a question and whoever wants to raise their hand so that we can keep the conversation going? In anticipation of the fall, what's being brought up for you within you actually? What is your main concern? How can we help students? Fear. Okay, somebody said fear. So there's two questions here. One said, how can we help students move forward? I believe the best process to help students or anyone move forward is the line of communication. So being open to again, creating the space that is safe, that students can come and have an open conversation or an open share with someone they feel comfortable with and feel like it's a safe space to do so. I think that that's one way. Again, I'm assuming the district will have some type of guidelines available to each and every one of you as to the do's and don'ts. But it's really important that we create this space where the conversation can be had. It could be by having somebody come have a speaker come in. It can be by just creating different group meetings. So many different things can happen, but it's a matter of us, and like we're doing now, anticipating it. So therefore we're preparing for what's to come, and we have these tools. So having a speaker come in or a professional come in, speak on different topics that's relatable to the students is important, because then it helps them, give them the opportunity to have discussion, realize they're not alone in the process, and release whatever is sitting within themselves if they don't have other avenues to do that. And in doing so, it's very important that as we allow students and anyone to share, that we're equally prepared to have resources to provide, because we do not want to open a Pandora's box and don't have the resources to help support what was released or shared. So that's very important to do as well. Someone just said fear. Fear in terms of what they're anticipating for the next for the fall. Fear comes in different ways. I'm assuming we're talking about a fear of the unknown as to what the year is going to look like. And I'm assuming also based on the year we just had, there could be fear in terms of racial tension. It could be fear in terms of political tension. It could be fear in terms of the whole pandemic and what that would look like and what would be brought up, and are we prepared to deal with what may come from it? I'm a very advocate on doing the work on ourselves first, so that we are fully capable to feel grounded enough to deal with what's to come our way. And again, life happens. Life is full of peaks and valleys. But we are able, however, to navigate through it and come through it. It comes with preparation and mindset, the right mindset, and having the right people around us. And I would encourage everyone to definitely speak on that when you speak to your students, the importance of surrounding themselves with the right group of people, their support system, those who feed them, not those who deplete them, those who will help them bring them up as opposed to those who bring them down. One who will grow with them and support them in all what they're doing, and the good days and not so good days. These are the people that we all need to surround ourselves with, because that's how we continue to remain in our truth and remain steady in the growth that we have had for ourselves. You've done this work. If you've done work with yourself, if you're at the space that you have fully gained understanding of who you are, and you are so happy as to where you stand, you don't want that to be removed from you by any ways. So you want to preserve it. Preserving means that reducing some conversations because there are conversations are not serving, or removing people from your life as well, regardless of who they are, or managing the time you spent with each person. And that's a conversation that's important to have among adults and among children as well. So that fear that we're talking about, it's important to create the space where you could come together as a collective and speak on it, because you'll realize you're not the only one feeling this way. And then identifying that, what can be done to help us overcome what it is that we're feeling inside ourselves. And I'm reading more question, I believe. If we see a colleague struggling who may not be aware of their level of anxiousness, fear, and change in personality, what should we be the first step to be helping them? Your availability, right? So if you see that, just in letting them know, and not so many words, finding the right way that you're there for them. How are you doing today? It's a simple, I'm here to support in any way. Is there anything I could do to assist you throughout the day? Let me know. We don't always have to ask the question, because that can be also a little bit frustrating, especially when everybody deals with things differently. But knowing that you're present, that you are a resource should they need it, is actually very important, because sometimes that's all that someone needs to hear. So that's what I would encourage. If you see a colleague struggling, letting, I'm here, I'm available, knock at my door if you need anything, I'm here to support. And then just leave it at that. When they're ready, they'll come to you. And you'll be surprised how that, what that does. I keep toxic people at a distance. I minimize the interaction, only communicate what's necessary. And that's very important. It's really important. It takes a couple of things that I want to say before we end. This process to get to the space where you're comfortable with who you are, you're comfortable with your gifts, you have clear understanding of your purpose, and you're in a space where you're feeling fulfilled. It is a beautiful space to be in. However, it is a journey. It doesn't happen overnight. It is also continuous. We will all have moments of highs and lows. That's part of being human being. That's just how life is. The difference with a person who have done some of the work and someone has not done it yet is that they're better equipped. They have more tools in their bags to pull from, to help them through the process and get out of it faster than the next person. That's all. But it's a journey. Life is a journey filled with peaks and valleys. But we will, knowing how to navigate it makes a difference, and it allows us to be able to pull through a little faster than the next person. But we need to give ourselves grace in the process and give our loved ones grace as well. It's extremely important to do that and understand that. It's not easy, but it is possible. With the right mindset, clarity, and genuine loving heart. Love takes us a long way, and we need to understand that as well. Well, any other question? I thank you for all the great messages. Any other questions? Anything else that I could assist with? We have about 3 more minutes. Well, it seems like anyone else? Did somebody just remove themselves from? Kendra, did you remove yourself from unmuted yourself? No? Okay. All right. Well, thank you everyone for allowing me to show up and do what I do. It is really a fulfilling thing for me. It's fulfilling to be able to walk into a space and step into a stage to really speak and pour into others, because I believe it's in the collective that we grow. I always love to keep them conversational. And because I think I too, as I show up, I may have a little bit more background on the topic, but I am learning and growing every time I come in communion with others. So I'm very pleased, and I feel very blessed to be able to come in and share with you. And I look forward for many more opportunities to get in spaces and meet you all again, because I think that there is benefit there, and I have grown today just by being present and sharing the stage with so many of you. So I thank you, and I wish you luck on the next fall season. And please do not hesitate to tap into me should you need any assistance or resources. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Rachel.
You're welcome. So those of you who have another room here, I guess I'm gonna leave the room and the next presenter will show up. I think it's a break right now, if I'm not mistaken, at 12. And then please look at your schedule. To know
We have lunch until 1 o'clock.
1 to, you said 12 to 1 o'clock?
12 to 1.
Perfect. So 12 to 1, you have a break, and please make sure you look at your schedule to see what other rooms that you're scheduled to be in. But it was definitely a pleasure and an honor to be there with you. And I look forward to many more opportunities. And just remember, you are not alone. There are resources out there, and stay focused and keep moving forward. Okay? Thank you.
Miss Vince.
Hello?
Hi, I just wanted to say that you did a really great job.
Oh,
I was
thank
really
you.
yeah, you're welcome. I was really into what you were saying. And I just was taking a lot into it, especially being a student in high school right now. So I was really connecting with what you were saying.
Awesome, awesome. I'm happy that,
Yes.
let me put this back. I didn't even realize someone was still there.
Yeah. Yes. I'm Skylar, by the way. I'm the VOC Tech Help.
Oh, okay, great, great, awesome.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you for assistance. I think my screen came off a little bit, but whatever, that's life. And I learned to manage, I roll with the punches. But yeah, I mean,
Okay, great.
let's stay connected. Feel free to, follow. And I think or if you're in the app, you could certainly connect on the app, or you could follow on any other social media thing too. So I'm Rochelle Sylvain. But I love pouring into especially your
Awesome.
generation.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I really appreciated it. Oh, and also you can stop recording now,
I thought I
just so you
did.
know.
Did I do